Hello, my name is Lamerck, and welcome to the Naval Sports League. For our first time watchers, the Naval Sports League, or NSL, is the ultimate naval competition in the game of holdfast nations at war. League battles are simple. Two teams, each led by a single admiral, pilot five large capital ships and two small support boats, with the goal of sinking as many capital ships as they can within 35 minutes. Whoever sinks the most wins, and if there's a tie, we decide the winner by overall score. Teams consist of anywhere between 20 to 40 players, and the league provides mercenaries to balance out any number disparities between the teams. Every player in the league, be they a team player or a mercenary, is competing hard for end of season awards and accolades. Every battle will take place on a randomly chosen map, with randomly chosen wind direction. Both of these factors mean that no two battles will ever be the same. The league lasts for 9 months, from late February to November, with 3 or 4 games a month for you to enjoy. Once that main season is over, the top three teams of the league will duke it out to determine who wins the champion's crown. The NSL is a collection of Holdfast's most talented admirals, officers, and crews, and the tactical gameplay you'll see here is at a higher level than anything else this game has to offer. We, hosts and co hosts, will be here for the entire battle to help you understand the decisions and strategies you'll see play out in the NSL Coliseum. So, without further ado, let's get to the pre-game coverage. I am joined today by my good friend and the hardest working man in the NSL, Atticus.
Hi. Hey, man. Thanks. Great to be
Uh,
here.
we are going to get right into it, Atticus. I'm going to go over the league standings really quickly, and then you'll take us through the leaderboard. League standings. We've seen the ironing in of what is likely to be the top three teams pecking order into the finals. The Krakens, the SCP, do have another battle coming up. Points wise, it would be very difficult, I think, at this point to say for the SCP to overcome the Krakens for the second place in their next battle, but it is anything's possible here in the NSL. But what we're looking at today specifically is the lower half of the bracket and the dynamic movement that is still possible down there. We're going to see a battle between the Royal Black Fleet and the Marines. Those are the two at the bottom of the lower half of the league, and they're fighting it out to see kind of what possibilities there are for the Royal Black Fleet really to make motion today. And they're really setting the tone for what the finals and semifinals are going to be like at the end of the season. As we talked about before, and I want to very quickly remind everybody before we move on to the leaderboard, there is an upper bracket semifinals and finals, and then there's going to be a lower bracket semifinals and finals. So even though the Leviathans, the Krakens, and the SCP have really taken away and gone and shot up to the top half of the league leaderboard, the Jackals, Royal Black Fleet, and Marine story is not yet over, and there's still an opportunity for any of those three teams to win that lower bracket finals. All right, with that said, let's move on. Atticus, take us a little bit through the player leaderboard.
As you can see from the player leaderboard here, Spicy Paper's iron grip on first place that has been there practically all season is now under threat. His average score is only 2 points above McCandless of the Krakens now. In third place, we have Dan Frank, then we've got Shadow, and we've got Bobby123 of the SCP-38s, who has always been hovering around sixth place and has now put himself on this leaderboard. But as you can see, the real big story here is the Spicy's, as I said, iron grip on first place is under big threat from McCandless of the Krakens.
Now, you might say no to this, but do you want to talk about some of the dark horse candidates that are out there that may be invading this player leaderboard, or do we want to keep that a surprise?
I can't name names, but there are a couple of players who are just on the cusp of the threshold to qualify for this leaderboard. Remember, guys and girls, this leaderboard is based on a minimum of having played half the matches in the NSL. So there's a couple of guys who are just below that halfway point who, if they play the next two games, will achieve half the matches, and their scores put them squarely on this leaderboard. So keep an eye out over the next. Keep an eye out at the end. We probably won't know until the playoffs start exactly how the leaderboard finishes up.
Wow. So still room for movement here on this player leaderboard. Unexpected
Absolutely.
movement. Great. All right, let's move on to the matchup, our side by side. We have the Marines and the Royal Black Fleet today. if you don't mind, Atticus, I'll start off by going through the Marines, and then we'll pass it over to you for the Royals. But for both of these guys, we've got Kieran's for Admiral on the Marines, and we've got Gilly for the Royal Black Fleet. The season record is there 1-8 for the Marines and 2-7 for the Royals. Pretty close, all things considered. Um, the top players, Bjornsson, Dumbbell, Count Chocula for the Marines, and Vex, the one to watch. And for the Royals, Splunker K, the Pickle Man 69, and Mr. Death with Shum as your one to watch for both of these teams. Now, I'm going to get right into it, and I'm going to give the argument for why I think it's going to be a Marines victory today. So the Marines have been training. I mean, they've really been using these last few battles to sort of figure it out all over again. They've had some changes to their lineup. They brought in some new players, and I think they're still like vetting their captains. I think if Kieran can learn the lesson of his most recent battles, which is to just get that 13 gun offset and not keep throwing it into danger with every maneuver, that is the difference between this team, kind of punching on the lower end and crawling its way up to something closer to the middle of the leaderboard. If they can do that, if that lesson can be learned, this is a team that does have good cannoneering and can win. Atticus, why do you think it's going to be the Royal Black Fleet today?
So when I think of the Royal Black Fleet, the one thing I think of is cautiousness, but a great instinct for when to spring the trap, for when to get involved. They will. I'm fully expecting a cautious opening from the Royals. You know, moving around, finding their spot. But when they find that spot, they go in. The other thing that I really think that they have over the Marines today is I think their quality of gunner is better. Starting just looking at their top players, Splunker, Pickleman, Death, all top gunners. Shum in the preseason was one of the top gunners in the entire league. Now he hasn't been as available this year for season one. That's why we don't see him on the leaderboard or we don't see his name that often. But he is a top tier gunner, and I think the Royals' overall quality of gunnery is gonna see them through today.
Yeah. We've been hearing some mutterings, some rumors about that today is going to be, let's just say, an action packed game. Now, that's coming from more on the Royal side, and I don't want to give too much away because we really have it remains to be seen. But they seem extremely excited about what I am assuming is going to be a fairly aggressive game today. The thing is, that's all well and good to have that, but the Marines get to decide whether they engage or not. And we've seen a little bit of both from the Marines. Kieran sometimes, goes in and sometimes he doesn't. It's really hard to tell with them. But I think we're going to see some rip and tear from the Royals today, and that would be very exciting to watch. Atticus, let's move on to the map preview. You're both of these teams. You've got a neutral wind going west. Islands exactly the same on either side. Since you've been repping the Royals, what is your opening move as the Royals?
You've got to start with an opening move to the hang on, I got to figure this out now. If that's
Against the wind
west,
or with the
that's
wind?
against the wind without a shadow of a doubt.
So
Without a
east.
shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Not directly east, of course,
No.
but forward and east. They this map. Let's just talk about this map for a second. I detest this map because because of its symmetry. There is no truly good way to go, if that makes sense. You will always be second guessing yourself, and it's very easy to counter. Do you get where I'm going?
I do. And one of the things we fought on this map many times. This is a hard map for us. It is because everybody has the exact same opportunities coming out the gate, and everybody ends up you're either mirroring each other, and then you're like as you're leaving spawn as an admiral or a captain, you're trying to gain information about what the opponent's going to do and what their opportunities are and where their weak points are. And when you have everything exactly the same between you and the opponent, you're giving each other nothing usually until somebody starts pulling out or anything like that. Then you start to see the battle taking shape. But and you're probably right, they're probably going to go, whatever, southeast or southwest or whatever against the wind and east. It's very likely that the beginning is not going to give us too much information on what's going to happen here. But if these teams are looking to get, if they're not looking to do like the prime perfect play of going against the wind and banking the wind for early and getting the wind advantage over each other, we could see something that's a lot more aggressive. Here's the thing. These teams have nothing to lose today, right? Neither of them are going to break free of the lower bracket. Neither of them are very likely to crack the top of the lower bracket. It's not. I mean, it's possible. I think it's possible for the
That's
Royals.
yeah. If the Royals win today, they pretty much they will secure
Okay, so
fourth
they have the
place.
points. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, the Jackals have a sizable though. They'll tie the Jackals because the Jackals are 3-7 right now, and the Royal Black Fleet's 2-7. Right, so they get their 3-7, but the Jackals have.
minus
Oh
77
yeah, no, you're
some
right. The point
points. Yeah.
difference is so the Royal Black Fleet do have something to fight for today, and the Marines are really, again, this could be just like another practice battle for the Marines for next season to get their crew bloodied. But and that would normally tell you, what you said when you were repping the Royals, which is that like they tend to play conservative, and yet they've been telling us very differently behind the scenes. I don't know how to square it, to be honest with you,
You know
Atticus.
me, Merc. I don't listen to rumors until it's in black and white.
Yeah, yeah. So a cautious Royals opening. I think, I mean, yeah, you're right. That's what they do most games, right? They think about points. They're extremely points conscious as a team. Um, and so, but we've also, weren't they the guys who just bonsai charged into the teeth of a Kraken's line earlier on in this season and just got like obliterated for it? I mean, they do
Believe
have
I believe that might have been the Marines.
was it? I
I
thought
I
it was I thought it was the Royals. I'm pretty sure it was the Royals. Maybe somebody maybe director can correct me or something, but I thought it was the Royals. I think they have the ability for spontaneity and it depends on who's making their plans. But we'll see how it goes. I would love to see some action. Personally, I would love to see a very aggressive game today from these two teams, but then you got to throw a lot of the conventional wisdom of the league out the window because when you just charge an enemy and pray, who knows what happens then.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. And if there's ever a map for charging, this I don't know. Is this the map for charging or is it not? Because it's so open. It's such an open map.
You know what I think it is? Because, like you said, these islands on either side, they suck. They're a pain to get into because they're pill shaped, mixed with these like small little dot islands. To go into those islands, it looks like there's a lot of space between all those islands. There's not. And so when you go in there, it makes your fleet weave in certain directions that are very predictable to your enemy. So the best thing is to fight it in the middle, to just head towards the enemy, turn in one direction or the other, and then maybe start doing a circle of death or fighting somehow in the middle. I think that these guys are going to end up doing something similar to that, but I really
Well,
couldn't tell you.
well, you and I's last visit to this map was not a particularly happy one, if you
Mm.
recall.
It was.
And let's just hope the two teams have been watching previous battles and have done a little bit of homework on what not to do.
Yeah. I'm getting from our good friend Wavy, one of our correspondents today, that it was the Royals who did the bonsai charge. He recalls the same thing, so thank you, Wavy. And I do think it was the Royals. I'm predicting a Royals like absolute like insane charge today, or some kind
I,
of extraordinarily aggressive action. But again,
are
I'm
you,
relying on rumors, and you don't, Atticus. You keep it.
are you thinking of five abreast straight down the middle?
No, I don't think they're going to go line abreast. I don't see that happening. They've never shown that they do line abreast before, so far as I've known. The only people I've ever seen to do that are us and the SCP, I think. Um, and
And
so
just
no,
for
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say for new time viewers, when Lamont references us, he means the Leviathans.
Thank you. I do mean the Leviathans. Um, so yeah, I think what we're going to see here. I would guess if I'm the Royal Black Fleet, unless I'm going to follow the rumors. You stay on the straight and narrow because I'll go crazy around here. If they're doing that, they're going to bank the wind early so that they can get the wind to charge at the enemy. That's the way to do an aggressive action, right? You want the wind at the moment of strike where you're moving into the enemy range. You do not want to be against the wind when you're trying to move in enemy range, especially if you're going for boarding action. What I can tell you now that we've started and these teams are probably in the game and they're not worried is that we have seen that they were whipping up. They were looking for melee sweats. That's what they were looking for. They put out a call for melee focused guys. And so I think what that means is that we're going to see boarding action extravaganza today. Now, for those of you who are watching, if you're looking on the overhead, we are looking at if I'm correct me if I'm wrong here, Atticus, we have the Marines on the left and the yellow ships, and we have the Royal Black Fleet on the right on the green ships.
That's the way it should be, Merc. That's the way it should be.
Okay, so now that means what you're seeing here is that the Royal Black Fleet are going with the wind. It seems like maybe everybody's going with the wind.
There's a strange symmetry kicking off here. If you look, there's two singular 8 guns breaking off in the same direction, while the main fleet bodies go straight at each other. This is very peculiar.
This is yes, it is.
I've not seen this one before. I tell you that for nothing. I've not seen this one before. I'm interested to see how exactly this is going to line up.
What's the rule on coordinating battle plans ahead of time? I guess I don't know what it is.
I mean, it looks that way, doesn't it?
It's
that's not
shockingly
the case,
symmetrical right now. Shockingly symmetrical.
Except, of course, the Marines have decided to lead with the 13 gun, which, if you're going to do something like this, is possibly the right call, given get your carronade in early.
Yes, right. Getting the carronade in early, I hear that, but the problem with the Marines is they have a terrible habit of getting their 13 gun sunk really fast. So I don't know. I don't. If I was counseling them, I would not have them to put the 13 gun in front ever. But that's I'm not.
It's definitely a strategy that can work in the right situation. It did used to work early. The advent of the overwhelming power of the 13, when the 13 wasn't seen as this big bad ship, as it is today.
I want to make a note, Atticus, about the gunboats or rocket boats, whatever they are, that the Marines gunboats have gone with that lone 8 gun. The Royals have not. They've kept there with their fleet. So I think that's going to be something that's going to give the edge to the Marines in whatever the hell is happening out west up there. Meanwhile, the fleet battle is going to favor the Royals because of those gunboats. Go ahead.
If the Royals have seen that the gunboats are out there with that lone 8 gun and aren't responding to it, that's one big risk factor to losing that lone 8 gun, unless that lone 8 gun is seen as something that is expendable. But we'll see very quickly, because these ships are getting close, and
Royals are turning out.
The Royals are turning their broadsides in first. We're going to get the first shots fired in anger, in range, any second.
That Marines 13 gun being out front is a real liability for the Marines.
It absolutely is now. It absolutely is. It is a problem. And the next thing is, which way do the Marines turn?
They're going with it.
The Marines needed to turn the other way.
I totally agree with you.
They're just turning into broadside. They're just turning into having their T crossed. They're not getting their guns in. Ooh, this is going to hurt, and this is going to hurt bad. Now you've got practically the entire Royal Fleet turned in.
Yeah, my question for the Marines is, how many times can you live this scenario again and again and again, where you throw your 13 gun at an enemy fleet, point it straight at them, and get it beat the hell up? I mean, they're a glutton for punishment with that 13 gun. What can I say?
They are a glutton for punishment. Next season might suit their style a bit more.
That's true. So the 8 guns in the Marines are turning out. They are turning out at least to swing around behind, but with the 13 gun headed directly into the enemy, you really have to wonder if those 3 8 guns aren't going to get completely left behind and out of the battle for the next few minutes.
And it also looks like the two rogue 8 guns are parked side by side for what looks like a prolonged boarding battle. I'd imagine.
Yeah, this has got a lot of premeditated hallmarks. Um, I've seen a
Meeting
thing
the
or two in my time. I feel like there may have been an arrangement beforehand on all this. And I guess as long as these guys are trying to win, that's what's important. But
and now, conversely, the Royals 13 has been outmaneuvered by the Marines 13.
and the 8 guns are still putting shots out towards it and hitting.
I mean, you look at the healths now, and you
It's
can
still
see
not looking good for the Marines.
It's not. I mean, they're in a Pirates of the Caribbean scenario. They're enveloped on both sides. I don't know what the 8 gun in front's gonna do apart from it looks like he's about to hit a. I'm not sure if the reefs are on or not on this map, but I'm sure he's about to find out.
Well, you can say this for the Marines 13 gun. It's having a good time out there. You know, this is a very joyful end of the season for these teams, I think. But now the Royal Black Fleet has moved out of the range of the 8 guns that the Marines 8 guns that were left behind. So now, well, not quite, but damn near. And now I think is the time we're going to see the Marines 13 gun really, really, really take a hurting. But it is just constantly swinging about and ramming into enemy fleets. I have to say, this is a fun to watch battle, no question about it.
I just wish there was more fire output, but there's probably a bunch of cannons missing, to be honest, for the Marines 13. But if it was putting damage output, there'd be a significant chunk done so far.
The thing that's gonna seal the fate of the Marines here is that they're gonna lose their 13 gun first, and I don't see any way that doesn't happen. It's been such a cudgel that they've used it to just slam into the Royal Black Fleet again and again and again. But it doesn't really lead to anything like a victory here. It leads more to causing confusion on Royal Black ships for a short period of time. Then they reestablish control, and now look at these broadsides, just withering broadsides from the Royal Black Fleet into the back of the Marines 13 gun. So that's going to be gone soon.
It's going to go any second at all. Now the thoughts turn to the rest of the Marine fleet. I mean, they do have 3 8 guns that look. They have a pretty solid formation. Nothing amazing, but nothing terrible. There goes the 13 gun.
Yeah, this is a situation in which you really got to wonder, what did the Marines really want to do here? Because if the plan was to get aggressive and board enemy ships, having the 13 do it over and over again was kind of a bad move on their part, because it really it's such a vulnerable and destructible ship. And it's one of the slower ships, and it's one of the easiest ships to hit. I mean, if you take a look at the Royal Black Fleet ship HPs right now, they are totally fine. They have a demasted 8 gun, and that's got to be their most damaged ship, and it's barely touched at this point. These 3 8 guns that stopped to like fire into the back of the Royal Black Fleet ship have done virtually nothing. And so why not take them with you and join in this craziness that you've conspired to create, this incredible boarding? It really would have, I think, benefited their plan to have a little bit more cohesion throughout the whole fleet. The whole fleet's doing the same thing. Instead, they just used the 13 gun as their boarding ship, and I'm not seeing the results.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if you were going to go for some sort of grand boarding action, use all your ships. Don't just use one, and certainly not the 13 gun alone.
Yeah, I would much rather give up some 8 guns and keep my 13 as the long range cover fire than give away the 13 gun as they did here. But I mean, this is obviously what they wanted to do. Like, clearly this is what they wanted to do.
I look forward to speaking to the admirals afterwards and finding out if this went to or what the plan was in the first place. The other rogue 8 gun is now demastered for the Marines this time, and yes, looking at the health pool, it's not long for this battle.
Well, that's because it's got the entire Royal Black Fleet just slamming shots into it from point blank range. So yeah, it's going to be gone. It is gone. It's gone now. And so now it's a 3 8 guns versus the entire Royal Black Fleet. Two of the ships, I mean, one of the ships is going to get left behind. The other ship is far behind, is going to have to play catch up. So this is an opportunity for these 3 Marine ships to just, if they just concentrate fire on that 13 gun, it's possible to even maybe salvage this battle. Like, it's not lost yet. It's just looking like a loss right now, but it's not there yet.
It's not lost yet, and what they do have is they probably have the better fleet position and coordination. They're controlling the center a bit more. They've got the RBF on the wall. You know, I'd be amazed if the RBF lost, but we have seen stranger things.
Yeah, I agree with you. They seem to be concentrating. And God, isn't it nice to have the white trails back on these cannon shots, by the way?
Good riddance to Halloween.
Yes, indeed. So what you can really see is that they're focusing their fire. The Marines are focusing their fire on that lead 8 gun of the Royal Black Fleet, which is doing a great job putting itself out in front of the Royal Black Fleet's 13 gun and creating that defensive perimeter.
I don't know whether that's by design. It does look now by design. Originally, that happened to be where it ended up when the 13 gun tried to maneuver. Now, my question is, where's the 13 gun? And it's getting into rotation, and that's good. Oh, he is pulling up. He is going to stop.
Yeah, he's going to get into rotation, and he's just going to unload on the front of the enemy fleet. Like, the Marines' front of the fleet is about to take withering broadsides from that 13 gun. But they've got the HP to tank it right now. They do. The problem is, again, they're just not getting the shots that they need on that 8 gun to, like, you got to take the 8 gun out, and then you got to get to the 13 gun. The problem is, I think that the Marines are out of range of the 13 gun, and maybe you can check that for me. I honestly can't tell from my position. Actually, you know what? As we get closer,
they're definitely not out of range. They're definitely not out of range, but it's a long shot. It's a long shot. It's not something you're going to hit every time. Like there was a perfect hit on the 13 gun from the 8 guns now, and they are creeping in. Their line is creeping.
it does look. Go ahead.
No, go on. What's the question?
My question is, are they about to charge that 13 gun? Because it certainly looks like they're about to charge that 13 gun.
We'll know in about 30 seconds whether.
Okay. You see him pulling out? All right, good. That's what we want. Just like you said. We'll see.
He just straightened up just for a second. There we go. Yeah. I mean, it's not the best position to be in. You're practically in a 1v1 versus a 13 gun, Mr. Lee gun, but
those 2 8 guns behind him have got to come in and get to that 13 gun. I mean, there's no way this goes well for the Marines if they don't get all 3 of those 8 guns firing at that 13 gun. There is no higher priority for them right now. It's down to half. It's not out of the question that that 13 gun can go down before an 8 gun does. And then it's 2v4 8 guns, but one of those 8 guns is disabled. So it's really a 2v3. It's like winnable on the margins. Gunboat, maybe some good gunboat action. It's certainly possible. But if I was Kieran's right now, it would be all fire at the 13 gun. I don't care what you got to do. Get in range of that 13 gun and slam it and slam it and slam it.
The RBF are in a position where they really need to start focus firing. Focus fire, and the job's as good as done. But while they're still doing this split firing, it's going to take a lot longer.
What I'm seeing,
they may like.
What I'm seeing from them right now is that only the rear ship, and even the rear ship's front cannon, is firing at the lead ship. So I would say that they do have a decent amount of focus fire here on that lead ship. Just the question is, is it going to be enough in time? I think it is. I'm
seeing a lot of missed shots as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
when the targets are stationary like that, you really got to lock in.
Yeah, to be honest, the ship that seems to be doing a lot of damage is that second ship of the Marines line. The one. Ooh,
fish.
That was a big hit. I don't know what he hit. Oh, it was a stacked gunboat that he hit, and he blew up the cannon. He blew up the front gun.
And that's what you need right now. You need to ward off anything that's going to disrupt this equilibrium that they have there.
But the second ship in the Marines line is actually doing consistent damage to that 13 gun. It's barely missed a shot now, and it's the one that's offset further back.
Well, it's good because the lead one's about to go down.
The lead
in a second.
I think this could be it. No, then it'll be this one.
There it
goes.
Now it's 2v4 in this line, really 2v5 with one demasted and out of the battle. Oh my goodness, what a slog
I do
for these
believe
guys.
that is it now. I'm sure the Marines will sink one, maybe two ships, but they're not going to win this match now.
No, there's no reason that they shouldn't be pulling forward and sinking that 13 gun. The 13 gun is just ripe for the picking here. They've got eyes in the sky by now. They know it's going to be that way. They've got to get their gunboats around behind that fleet. That's what they really need to do. If there's any hope, and like you said, I don't really think there is, but if there's any hope, it's about getting the gunboats behind the fleet, taking that 13 gun down very quickly, and then boarding those 8 guns, disrupting them, stopping them from firing back, because those are 2 very healthy Marine 8 guns. For what it's worth, they're very healthy.
They are very healthy, and the RBF are missing. They're focus fire in the second in the line now, the leader. But there are a lot of misses, whereas that 8 gun is dialed in on the 13.
How many?
13's not.
The question is cannons. What cannons are we looking at for these 2? And that would be my.
That would be a good question, and we might just get an answer any second for you. Ooh. They currently have 3 broadside cannons active.
Pretty good. Pretty good. The lack of removing these cannons from play is probably why that 13 gun is in danger.
And our very own ICT is one of the cannoneers on the ship.
Oh,
he could. I'm not saying he is, but he could be the reason that the accuracy has just been there for that ship this entire battle, this entire stage of the battle.
No doubt he's part of it. All right, so now the question is, what do the Marines take down with them? And really, it's just got to be that 13 gun.
It's gonna go second. It's gonna. You just noticed that too.
Yeah, the HP dropped precipitously at the bottom there. Went from like 10% to nothing. All right, let's see it. We've got even a gunboat's coming in to hit it. They want it down, and then what? Atticus, then what?
Run.
They just stay or run? Yeah, you want them to run.
Run. The only problem is, the only place to run is into the wind, really, towards the enemy or into the wind.
Also, you got to be thinking your opponent. This is the Royal Black Fleet that they're facing against, and the Royal Black Fleet understand very, very well the decision matrix that comes when you have the points advantage and you have the ship advantage. Like if the Marines ran right now, the Marines might just say, "Okay, see ya next time. See ya in the semifinals." You know, like because they win. They win if the Marines flee.
The Marines won't flee. The Marines will stand and fight. That's very much in their DNA, and especially in the way that they've conducted themselves in this battle, they will stand and fight.
And historically, they usually have they do this where they get beat in the early game, they kind of get beat in the mid game, and then the end game they take a few ships down with them as they go, showing that the work that they put in has not been for nothing, and that they don't get shut out. They very rarely ever get shut out, but instead they sort of they have a last gasp of heroism and then they go down.
However, I believe that the RBF ship that's on the lowest health has run.
Oh, interesting.
I believe that while we were focused on the 13, it did pull out. It was the one that was 1v1ing the rear 8 gun. Here comes the Marines 8 gun turning in. I can only imagine he's lost his cannons.
Yeah, I've seen some cannon explosions there
now. Yeah. He's got his front gun and that's it. Oh no, he's got 2 guns. He's got.
Maybe he just wants to distract. Oh, they're just both going in.
Well, they're not going to make it.
They're not. I mean, the second ship might get close, but it is going to get torn apart on the approach, and that's the problem there.
Great shot from Zithrak of the 26th, taking out with front cannon. And any second now we'll be seeing yet another. Yep, there it goes. There goes the third 8 gun of the Marines. And now it is just this lone, practically full health 8 gun.
Yeah, you see him pull it up now. Now he's realized maybe going in is not the right choice here.
Maybe I won't make it. Let's have a quick cannon count for him on his broadsides. Oh, he's got a full complement by the looks of things. Yep, full complement of broadside. Full complement for the whole ship.
Nice.
I might
That's
just
great.
put on the commentator's curse because can't help but feel one's going to go boom any.
Well, he's got a terrible angle on those two ships in front of him. They have great shots to hit and destroy his cannons because he's worrying about a gunboat that's trying to swing around behind him instead of the two ships that are hitting him from the front. These are, by the way, going to be perfectly healthy ships that there's very unlikely that he is ever going to sink any of them. So maybe a gunboat's the best he can get out of this situation.
I think we're just in for a long, slow slog here. I must say the Marines' accuracy for me has been slightly more on the nose. I feel it's more the strategy let them down than the.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. The strategy was for them. There were two strategies at the same time, but they didn't really work together. The 8 guns had a strategy, and the 13 gun had a strategy, and they did not really mesh. I'm going to take a look on the overhead at the scoreboard right now, and see. Yeah, so we've got we've got some very interesting numbers up here, but you can just tell that the Royal Black Fleets, the excess in firepower that they have is just making their scores just pop off. There's no question. I mean, when you only have one ship to contest with, you're not going to be building the score on your side of the team.
They've also, give or take, won the boat battle as well. If there was a boat battle out there, I was too busy focusing on the fleet on the fleet engagements to notice if there were any gunboating duels. I think there was one or two, but looking at the boats destroyed, the Marines have lost 4, nearly 5. Yep, there's number 5, while the Royals have only lost 3. So,
well, you got to assume, because there hasn't been a lot of gunboats influencing the fleet battle, that they have been having more than a few serious, contests between them, going probably in both directions for a little while. But yeah, winning out for the Royal Black Fleet in the end. Yeah, again, almost typical at this point. Marines last stand with a decently armed, but hopelessly outgunned 8 gun, standing tall at the end, doing their best.
Yeah, pretty much. Clever work of the Royals to pull out that wounded 8 gun earlier on. Otherwise, he would most likely be sunk by now. They just said, yeah, let's keep him. Let's stick him in the back. His firepower is not going to be overtly missed. And we'll just watch as this Marine ship slowly gets enveloped. Although there is a rowboat moving down which is drawing a bit of fire from the lead Royals 8 gun. I mean, it's always good to send out a rowboat even as a distraction, because any shot coming towards a rowboat isn't going towards the enemy ship. So it just buys a little bit more time. I mean, in this scenario, all it's buying is a little bit more time. But
they're doing a flip.
They're doing a flip, and it looks like he's lost his bowsprit as well. Oh no!
He's just not using it, huh?
It was just the way the map was.
Just such a broadside coming into them as they do this. This maneuver is always fodder for just getting the opponent's just getting great shots.
Also, if there's any crack shot on there, you can hit the backboard from this angle as well. Which
yes, you can.
If this ship takes a backboard hit now, I think it sinks straight away. Just checking if he just felt he had to flip. Yeah, he had to flip. He'd lost all but one cannon on his starboard side. He wanted to turn his ports in, do a little more damage. And now we've got a boarding action. The ship is now being boarded. And just trying to see who's getting. Ooh, there's a carpenter on board. That was fast. Oh, It is Splunker. Splunker is a carpenter, and I think we're
Yeah, we've got it. It's over.
it's
This
down.
game
It's
is
done.
finished. Finished on and a victory for.
The Royal
Wrap it
Black
up.
Fleet.
There we
Just like
go.
I told
Royal
you.
Black
Just
Fleet.
like I told you.
Yeah. Well, you were right. You were right. And a very sizable points difference there, just under 20,000. Just great for the Royal Black Fleet. They didn't need the points, but they sure as hell got them. So as we said earlier, that puts the Royal Black Fleets at the top of the lower bracket, which gives them a bye to the finals. Is that correct?
That is correct. I believe so. Oh, I'll tot up the stats later this evening or into tomorrow, but I do believe
Yeah.
that puts the RBF into the bye position into the grand final for the lower bracket.
And it does. I'm looking at it now because they're now tied for wins and losses with the Jackals, and the Jackals have a negative 77,000, whereas the Royal Black Fleet had a negative 41,000, which has now gotten much smaller with that incredible performance. Yeah, this is a great day to be a Royal Black Fleet captain, commander, crewman. They really showed that they can be daring and exciting and aggressive, and yet still keep to fleet fundamentals that allow you victory. Keeping your fleet together, not sacrificing your 13 gun. And even that fleet management at the end that you notice, pulling out that 8 gun, really just a very professional look for a
Yeah,
team that has had a checkered season so far.
it was the maneuver that they had to do in this particular battle, but it shows that at least they're thinking they may need to do it in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we will get the admirals in any time now, and what we can really talk about at this moment, Atticus, is that we are, because next week's battle, which is going to be the Krakens versus the SCP-38, is
Very
unlikely to.
excited.
Very excited. It's going to be an amazing battle, but one that is unlikely to change the overall dynamics of the leaderboard, the league standings. And so we can now really see the shape that the semifinals and the finals are going to take. For the upper bracket, we have the Krakens and the SCP-38 who are going to fight next week, and then they're going to fight again the week after for the semifinal round. To see who challenges the Leviathans in the final round of the upper bracket. And now we can see that the Jackals and the Marines are going to fight one another for the semifinals in the lower bracket to see who challenges the victorious team today, the Royal Black Fleet, for the leader of the lower bracket. So yeah, we definitely we know what to expect in the future from this league and what we're going to be seeing. And now it's just a matter of seeing, this was a show of what the Royal Black Fleet, who were in, like you said, position to vault to the top of the lower bracket, what they're working with, what kind of team they are going into the end of things here. And so what do you take away from this
They
as far as the
they've
lower bracket is
definitely
concerned?
they've definitely made a statement that they have their eyes on that lower bracket champion, if you will. They showed me today that even though the match was practically won at this point, they were still taking it seriously. They were still playing as if it was all to play for. And we've highlighted it a few times, but that decision to pull out that 8 gun, that rear 8 gun that was heavily damaged, it just shows a maturing, if you will.
Yeah.
That, you know, even though this battle's basically over, we are still going to play as if it isn't, and we're still going to preserve the ships like we would if we were in a closer battle.
Yeah. And I guess, what does this tell you about the Marines when it comes to their prospects for not only this season, not only for the end of the season, but maybe even for the future, for future seasons? Because we know they're coming back for season 2.
What today told me about the Marines was you can never predict what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely unpredictable. I would have never predicted that 13 gun was going to just be careening again and again and again into the Royal Black Fleet's line. But they dealt with it really well, and it didn't end up taking a lot. It probably deposited more bodies than it deposited, ammunition into enemy ships, and that didn't seem to turn the tide too much for them. But I'm sure they had a lot of fun doing it, and we had a lot of fun watching it. So we do have our admirals in here. We have a lot of people in this call, so let me see if I can see them all. I see Splunker. I see who else do we have here?
From the Royals, we've got Splunker K and Running Rock.
Okay, hey
The
gentlemen, how you doing?
Marines, we've got Henry West and Kieran.
And Kieran's. All right, Splunker and Running Rock, welcome and congratulations on a great victory. Let's get right into it. So the first question I have is what was going on with those 8 guns that were heading like isolated? Tell me, was this all pre-planned? Did you guys mirror each other's opening as was this all coordinated? Was this rigged, guys?
I have a prepared speech actually. Let me just pull it
Oh,
up real
good
quick.
God. Go ahead. Give me your prepared speech. I'm ready for it.
All right. Sorry, I tried to shorten it down.
Thank you.
Our flag means death, baby! We did it! Glory to the dead! Nah, man, we organized that we were going to send 2 ships against each other as a championship. Literally a championship of our meleeers, our combat expertise, everything. And we were just going to say, you know what? We need to tear. It's end of the season. I haven't had enough tearing yet. I need more tearing. So we decided we're going to tear it up. We're going to tear it up. We're going to bulk our 8 guns and we're going to send them at each other. And that's exactly
Okay.
what we did.
So a challenge was issued somewhere, and it was accepted that these 2 8 guns would be a melee demonstration, an exhibition of talent and the ripping and tearing. Is that right?
Ripping and tearing of all kinds.
Very good. And we saw how that went. Now tell us a little bit about what was going on for the rest of the fleet while that was happening. Do you have any idea, or were you just too bloody and wild and berserk to know what was going on with the rest of the fleet?
For me, I was bloodshot, but I'm sure that Running Rock, you might know more about what was happening.
Jump on in, Running Rock. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I was pretty lucky to be captaining one of the gunboats, so I could have a little bit of a more, outside view and kind of see what's going on. And with it, there was just one thing that we had decided as soon as we saw what the map was, what the wind direction was, is just not to turn east. Do our best to stay with the wind. And yeah, our plan was always to go ahead and make sure we can outshoot them because we know that we can outshoot the enemy that we had with us. That's always been our thing.
Cool. So just a lot of confidence coming into this. Confidence enough to accept or maybe throw the gauntlet down and have a bit of a honor duel at one part of the map, and the confidence that despite how that turned out, that your fleet would be in a position to leverage cannoneering advantage. Tell me, we didn't get to look too much onto the gunboat side of things. My focus on the overhead is usually all about the fleets. So was there any dramas going on in those gunboats and rocket boats that you'd like to tell us about?
To be honest with you, when it comes to the gunboats, it's just a very simple kind of thing that we like to do with our plan, which is just to go ahead and keep it simple because we know that in the heat of battle, you're going to go ahead and have so many things going on in your head. You're going to try to do fancy maneuvers, which you probably shouldn't. With it, we just made sure to go ahead and keep an eye on what the enemy was doing and make sure more than anything that our 8 and 13 guns were viable in shooting. So that was mostly our plan when it comes to being gunboat is just to go ahead and be that supportive gun for our team.
Gotcha. So you're very much in the style of like almost having an extra 2 8-gun cannons rather than any kind of boarding or anything like that. It's just additional firepower for you guys.
Right, that's correct. Unless you guys go ahead and change something next season where like melee kills are twice the points, that's what it's looking like for our strategy.
Very good. Atticus, got any questions for our victorious fleet?
I do. I don't know if either of them are in a position to answer. Who made the call for the damage 8 to pull out when you were in the line battle towards?
You cut out a little bit there, Atticus. I think they probably heard you, but I'm going to repeat your question, which is who made the decision for the damage 8-gun to pull out at the end of the battle? If you guys know.
Which side? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, that's for you guys. That's for you guys. We're for the Royal Black Fleet.
Define damaged.
So there, okay, right, because there were 2. There was the DMAS in 8-gun, but that actually had just that HP never really went down. There was in the line battle towards the end. There was a ship that was in the line. I think it was the rearmost 8-gun in the battle line itself that was firing, and it got down to probably like 25% HP, maybe a little lower, and then it peeled off. That's the
Yeah.
one
I
we're
think
talking about.
I think it was
Okay.
just mostly just to keep it from sinking.
Well, with it,
Apparently,
I
you know
just,
what? I just got something for that actually. It was Sparks. Sparks
Right.
was captaining that ship, and the decision was made by the captain of that ship, and he did it to preserve the ship count since the 13 gun at around that time was about to go down.
Yeah, great
well,
move.
yeah, in that case, yeah, pass along my congratulations to do even in a battle. Did look to be on top at that point. You know, a lot of other people would have said, no, leave it in, leave it. No, it showed a real maturity, planning, and ship preservation. So
Yeah.
hats off for
Um,
that.
Very good. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you for your rousing speech and your excitement. We cannot wait. You guys have won your bye, so you are now guaranteed to the finals of the lower bracket. And I will let you know that the whoever wins that finals, there is a cash prize for the fourth place team in the league. So you guys are in contention for that cash prize. Um, the teams that fall beneath you on the bracket are the only ones who are unfortunately not getting paid to play. So hopefully you can defend this victory against whoever comes and challenges you. And we will talk a little bit very soon. We'll be releasing all the details about when those games are going to be played, but basically they're just going to be played in the subsequent weeks after the next battle. So get ready to defend your crown here in the finals. And congratulations again on a great battle and well fought. All right, let's turn over to the Marines. We have Kieran's and we have did we lose? We may have no, I see Henry West here as well. So Kieran's, Henry, how you guys feeling? I know that you guys had big plans for what you intended to do today. Big promises, Kieran's, from last time when you were hosting with us. Did this go the way that you wanted it to go? Tell us about that 13 gun and what it was doing.
That letting Henry talk to you about the 13 gun back was captain of the 8 gun that went toe to toe with Splunker.
Are you saying? I'm sorry. You were the captain of the 8 gun.
Yes, I was captain on the we call it the champion 8 gun, the champion
Okay.
vessel that went to Splunker, the champion
Mhm.
of the Royal Black Fleet. So
Gotcha.
questions regarding the 13 gun, I'll have to defer to Henry because he was leading the charge.
Okay.
Henry?
Yeah, Henry, tell us all about your action on that 13 gun, weaving in and out of the enemy fleet, colliding with ships, probably, I'm assuming, depositing some bodies on there. Was that the intention from the beginning?
Oh, absolutely. If I might take a moment as well, anyone watching, make sure to follow the Naval Sports League. They do fantastic work, and thank you so much for hosting this, and thank you so much for having us. You do a sterling work, gentlemen, and I'm very happy to be here.
And if I may, really quickly, also throw some viewers your way. If you got anybody here, Henry is a prolific streamer for Holdfast and always a fun watch. So make sure that you also check out his Twitch.
You're too kind. In regards to the action that we had planned for the 13 gun, as it presently stood, we understood as a team that our function isn't exactly the most strategically superior. We understood that we have a lot of new players, a lot of people who aren't necessarily the most well adept at naval warfare. So we decided, solid, might as well go out with a bit of glory. We knew we weren't going to achieve victory in the conventional sense of it, so the idea was that I would be heading the flagship of this particular one, and we thought, sod it, let's get in close with the enemy, see if we can give them bloody good hiding. And I certainly hope that we gave you a bit of a spectacle of which to watch.
I would say that you did. I was shocked by the longevity of your 13 gun as it charged bravely, very bravely, into broadsides and split off from the 13 gun. You left the 13 guns behind. Sorry, split off from the 8 guns. You left the 8 guns behind to sort of put fire into the rear of the enemy while they were distracted with you, Henry. And I'm hoping, I'm really praying that when I get to go back and watch this from all the other perspectives, that I get to see you just throwing guys onto enemy ships, rolling broadsides as you pass them. There were even times we noticed that you cut that you cut behind the enemy 13 gun as they kind of got ahead of you. So, what was it like in the thick of that battle? What was the experience like for you?
Well, let me tell you, in regards to that particular battle, it was chaos incarnate. I think is the only apt way of describing such a maneuver. The idea was we knew that our strength doesn't particularly lie in our skills at gunnery, so our particular measure was to get close, hopefully to enact Jack Glenn as our particularly melee superiority. The idea was that hopefully, if we could limit the amount of contact the enemy guns had with our ship, that we'd get close enough to give them a bloody good dusting off and such like. We thought that get close, get fast, get aggressive, and hopefully we weren't going to win, but damn, we'd bloody take a few with us, I think.
Well, I love it. I think it was a great send off for the lower half of the league, the lower part of the league leaderboards. It was filled with bravery and filled with action, and it's the kind of one that I think the audience really likes to watch. So thank you for such a great spectacle. I want to pass it over to Atticus. Atticus, I know your mic's been cutting in and out a little bit, so I'll let you know if we can hear you. But I'd love to hear if you had any questions for the Marines.
I've only got one question. That's for Kieran. Given that he was captaining the champion 8-gun, and I did see that both the masts, well, the entire ship was demasted for the Royals first. Are you claiming victory?
The demasting.
But are you claiming victory in your melee championship
Uh,
sidebar?
Look, I think that really we won that bout. There was a lot of times where we were stood around on the enemy ship wondering when are they going to spawn in so we can slaughter them some more. Unfortunately, someone pulled the sails down on my ship, so we ended up drifting away, and then it just turned into carnage with the guns. But I think generally we had the better melee crew, but it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of team killing with the swivels. That wasn't anticipated. But yeah, it was a good fight.
Yeah, it was a novel spectacle, and I salute both teams for it.
We love a
Thank
little
you.
bit of reckless bravery out there on the high seas. Well, uh, Atticus, it has been a real pleasure hanging out with you today and enjoying this unconventional NSL battle. We have more to come over the next few weeks as we are. This is the penultimate regular season battle. We have one more next week where we will be watching the I'm sorry, I'm having a blank here. We have the Krakens versus the SCP, who are going to kind of give us a taste of what the upper bracket semifinals are going to look like because it's just going to be a repeat of this battle. So this is their opportunity to test each other. It's been a while since they fought. Um, and so we're very much looking forward to how that one plays out because there's been just so much drama on the upper half of the bracket. And it was so nice to see a lot of drama getting brought to the lower half of the bracket today. After that, we will have two double-header weeks, right? So not next week. Next week's going to be a regular battle, last regular battle of the season. But the subsequent week, and I'm pulling up my calendar now so I can help you all to understand what we're talking about. But the 30th and the 7th, these are going to be double header weeks. So on the 30th, we are going to start a little bit early, and we're going to have the Atticus, remind me, did we say the upper bracket first or the lower bracket first?
Lower bracket first.
Right. We're going to have the lower bracket battle first on the 30th. So that's going to be an hour before our normal recording time.
And
And
that'll
then
be
we're
the
going.
Jackal. Sorry, that'll
Yep.
be the Jackals versus the Marines.
That's right. And then we are going to have the upper brackets semifinals. So the 30th will be a day of semifinals. And then the 7th, the subsequent week, will be another doubleheader, a day of finals, where you'll get to watch the lower bracket finals and then the upper bracket finals. And that will conclude this season 1 of the NSL. So we are fast approaching the end here. There are so many things to be excited about, not just for the end of this season, but for next season. There's so many things. We just had a long discussion internally about, so many of the things that are coming from the AGS update for Naval that's going to happen, all of the different possibilities from the different gameplay aspects to all different things that may be in the game that are not there now. So next season is just going to be a totally different animal. And it's going to be even more exciting, if possible, than this one. So I hope you'll all join us for next week for the last battle of the regular season and the 2 following weeks as we conclude and find out who will be the champions of the upper and lower bracket. Again, it has been my pleasure to host with you today, Atticus, and I hope you had a very good time.
Loved it, enjoyed it, always a pleasure.
And I'd like to thank our admirals and, of course, the army of people who help out behind the scenes. We had tons of correspondence today. That's our cameramen who are providing a view for all of you viewers at home. We have organizers who are sorting out our mercenaries. We have people who are setting up our configs and setting up our maps. We've got our friends like Dan who helped us with the server today. Just so many people take the time out of their week to make this production go forward, and they do it all for the love of the game, and we cannot thank them enough. And as the season comes to a close, they are the real heroes who are bringing this all to you. So make sure that you thank them if you see them out there in the community, and I am thanking them now. We will see you again next week for the Krakens versus SCP and the last battle of the regular season. See you then.